So something has been going around for some time now, and it's the fact that these are this popular couple, Harry and Meghan, uh, which just these two people that just left the royal house in England happen now to be in the USA and are living their life, and it has not been easy for them, because they have been cut off. So recently they granted an interview, with Oprah Winfrey, and that interview actually, went very viral because a lot of things that were said in that interview was kind of implicative, implicating the royal families and the prince, the queen, and all of that. And it became a very big issue because it was bordered around, racism, saying, like when she was pregnant and they were wondering what color the child was going to be. And after giving birth to the child, that the family had to cut them off because the family didn't like the fact that Prince Harry married someone that is not from that clan or someone that is not of their color or race. So they have been having issues all this while, but thank God they have, kind of stuck together and have been riding the wave together. So the interview they granted recently with Oprah Winfrey has just been making wave because another company has actually paid a hefty sum to buy that interview, to buy the right to that interview. You know, it was reported that Oprah Winfrey actually did interview, but the interview has been purchased by Harpo Productions for the licensing rights, or rather, CBS actually paid the sum of $7 million to Harpo Productions for the licensing rights. So in other words, they paid to have the right to that interview so that they can air it worldwide. Now, this has been turning heads to know that just interview that was granted by this couple is being sold for $7 million. The right to this interview is sold for $7 million. And the funny part is that these guys were not paid anything to sit down with Oprah. Now, that is the power of information system. That is the power of what we have right now. When you talk about communication, news, and all of this, there's a lot of money in the industry that people don't even know yet. So for a company as big as CBS to be able to pay $7 million just to have the right to air that same interview around the world, that's to show you that they know what they're going to get. They know the kind of influence that is going to give them, the kind of edge is going to give them around the world as being the premium content, being content that is exclusive to them. So in other words, if you can get those kind of exclusive content from CBS, it goes to tell you that you can also get more. So that helps you, that helps them keep you on the network. So you don't have to go, changing channels, looking for other network to watch, since you know that CBS is willing to pay a hefty sum of money to bring you the latest news, to bring you the happening trends. So that gives them an edge. But what I'm just trying to highlight here is the fact that information is actually very expensive. Even the fact that now that we have social media, it's like everything is there out there for free. Anything you want to see, anything that's happening, is either trending on Twitter or right there on Instagram or Reddit or everywhere. Information is just, we are suffering from information overload. But even amidst that, information is still expensive. So whoever is listening to this, just know that no matter what, you feel like information is everywhere, information is still expensive. And that is why blogs like this exist. That is why YouTube channels like this exist, because we know the power of information. You might think the information is common, like you've heard of it. What about your next door neighbor? Has your next door neighbor heard of it? Has someone in the next community or the next state heard of it? So don't just assume that information is not strong or what you got is not actually that important, because it can be. Look at what just happened to these guys now. Now this company has sold just an interview, you say an ordinary interview. I mean, just you can have a discussion with your friend every day, but this guy sat down to have an interview and it has been sold for $7 million. That is the power that these guys have right now. Although they have been cut off from the royals, the entitlement and everything that comes with the royal families, but they have been surviving because Princess Diana, who is the mother of Prince Harry, actually had, plans for them. So there was an inheritance fund which Prince Harry has said has been helping him. So without that inheritance fund, they would have been in mess. So, but the inheritance fund has been helping them, and also they have been earning their own money. They've inked the deal with Netflix. There's about $100 million, and they also have their own podcast now. Now they're getting $1 million per show to talk and things like that. So they're beginning to make their own money and survive. And that is a big boost and a big good thing for them, because now they have the freedom. They don't have any restrictions that comes with royalty. They don't have any restrictions that come with They're minding what they say, where they appear, and all of that because they are free. They don't have attachment now. They don't have to be restricted because they are getting money from the royals. They don't get money for them now, so they can do whatever they like. They can go into any kind of business they like. They can, appear in movies or anything they like that can sustain them. They are free to do it. And so this is just the beginning of many good things for them because if this kind of money would have been paid for their interview, so now at least they know the power that they wield. They know the capacity of what they have to know that the information that they are voicing out is actually very expensive, and that is going to make them. I hope they get a good manager or someone, a good consultant that will now help them to repackage themselves to know that people actually want to hear their story. People are sympathetic with their story, so that means their story is very hot, and they can continue to sell it, and sustain themselves. So that is what I got to say on this. And I don't know if you've heard of it, but tell me what you think about this. I mean, it's quite interesting. I mean, to hear this. I mean, when I even saw it, I was like, wow, for real? But then just to find out that they actually were not paid anything, and they also didn't pay anything to appear on that show. So sometimes you see that this licensing thing, that even like the way music record labels do these things, that they have licensing, is kind of tricky. Because you yourself that have that talent, you yourself that have that capability, you don't have access to it after you voiced it out. Because right now, they don't own right to what they've said now. That thing can air anywhere around the world, and they will not get they will not get any royalty for it. But since they now know that this is possible, if they are now smart enough to get someone, maybe a good manager that can actually manage them to see that whenever they are going for a gig or no speaking engagement or whatever, they can actually have a backdoor license into it, maybe a royalty. Okay, whatever we say here, it doesn't matter what you say, whether you sell it or not, but we're going to have a royalty attached to it. So if you are making millions from it, you are going to be making something also from it. So, but for this one, they didn't ink that, and so they didn't get anything. It's just the Harpo Productions that will get the 7 million naira, and of course, CBS itself that licensed it actually get whatever thing that comes, from that same podcast, just from that same interview in the future, going forward till eternity, they get access to it. So, but if they're smart now, they will put that in place so that whichever interview they are doing again or whatever podcast, whatever they are doing, has to be tied back to them in terms of royalty, so that they can also benefit from their popularity, from their issues, scandals, or whatever they are having issues with right now, because they are very, very hot couple right now around the world. So I think that was quite important, and that was quite interesting to see. It's trending and all of that. So I hope you find it interesting, and just tell me what you feel about this. Tell me what you think about it. Leave it in the comment section, or whichever place you find this content. Thank you.